year that was unprecedented. And why did we face that financial crisis? Because government gave people to do incentives you wouldn't do on your own. You wouldn't make a loan to somebody that had no job and no income, but because the government and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac wanted everybody to own a house, they made loans to people that couldn't pay them back. And most of what happened was not free market driven, it was driven by incentives from the government. We need people that understand how to get that fixed, how to put a regulatory structure in place that really looks at systemic risk and makes sure we look out for that, but doesn't get in the way of the marketplace. What they're doing right now in Washington, and Kilroy's part of it, is raising the cost of credit for credit-worthy people. And they're going to drive this economy. People that want to start a business today can't get a loan because of what's going on in Congress. And how do we create jobs in this country? The government doesn't create jobs. Private business and individual entrepreneurs that want to take a risk create jobs and wealth. And we need to encourage that. We shouldn't be doing things that discourage it and make it more expensive. And but this campaign will be nasty, just like the last one. Kilroy got 77% of her money from outside Ohio last year, and so far this year the trend is continuing. She'll get over 70% of her money from outside Ohio. They'll focus on baseless partisan attacks, and they'll continue to shoot at me. But I can tell you, as somebody who served in Operation Iraqi Freedom, when you've been shot at with real bullets, you don't get so scared by television. And we can win in 2010. 54% of the people voted for a candidate that was more conservative than Mary Jo Kilroy. Unfortunately, we had 4 candidates in the race. And that's okay. I'm all for ballot access. The Libertarians ran a candidate. The good news is the guy who ran as a Libertarian candidate last time, Mark Noble, is out of the race. And he's not just out of the race, he's endorsed me and supporting me, and he's encouraging the Libertarian Party to not run a candidate. The independent candidate who ran is out of the race, and he is not supporting me, but he's not running himself. So, I think there's a real chance to maybe get Kilroy in a one-on-one, and she topped out at 45% last year. So, if she's in a one-on-one, she's toast. It's over. But there could be a third party, and if there's a third party, that's okay. I feel very confident that independents are going to say either a Republican or a Democrat's going to win this race, and most people know that anyway. This is a two-party country, it's a two-party system, and there are other parties, but they're not real players in our republic. I mean, they're from Ohio. There have been no congressional candidates that have been from any other party than Republican or Democrat elected in the last 50 years, and maybe longer than that, but at least in my research through the last 50 years, there's been nobody other than Republicans or Democrats. So I think independents will come back to us like they did in New Jersey, like they did in Virginia. So the other things that make this race different are that the issues are totally different. Last time, I think in 2008, unfortunately for the Republicans, it was a referendum against George Bush for a lot of independents, and especially a lot of Democrats, and they got fired up about it. And this race, in many ways, will be a referendum on Nancy Pelosi. Mary Jo Kilroy has been a rubber stamp for Nancy Pelosi. She voted with Pelosi 99% of the time, according to the Washington Post. So, and there'll be no presidential coattails. So it's going to be a whole new campaign. Normally, incumbency would help a candidate that's running, but I think the problem for Mary Jo Kilroy is incumbency can't help you when you don't actually represent the values of your district. And just look at the health care bill. She voted for the health care bill 2 Saturdays ago, and about an hour before that, she voted against an amendment, the Stupak amendment, that would have restricted the government plans and government funds to make sure they didn't pay for abortions. So she voted to make government funds pay for abortions, and then she voted for the health care bill. So, she's not representing this district. She might be representing San Francisco, and she might be representing Nancy Pelosi, but she's not representing the people back home. And I think that's going to cost her a lot next year. So, let me check and make sure. Do you guys want a rubber stamp in Congress? I don't think so. And I don't think anybody does. And so I want to leave you with three things, just so you know. Nobody's going to work harder than I am. And I'm going to work every day in Congress if I get there to make you proud. And together we can win this race. So God bless you. Thank you very much for tuning in today. All of my fellow officers, be proud.